Today's meditation, today's work is about staying in a high vibration, even though reality is looking as if it's not that high vibration. I asked for an example. Imagine if you are afraid of flying, you get onto the airplane, and your fear starts to make you doubt that you will arrive unscathed to your destination. This is our conditioning, is what feeds into our belief system. So this is just an analogy that if I'm in the airplane, I go, oh my God, there's turbulence. The pilot has a hangover. Or he had a fight with his girlfriend, or she had a fight with her boyfriend. If I start feeding into a reality, even though it doesn't look, if I trust that my flight will take me to where I need to go, that's fine. But if I start to feed difficulty or my program into a situation, even though the airplane goes to its proper destination, I will have a difficult time in my seat. I will get anxious. I will create a difficult movement for myself, different state of energy. So the opposite is true. What if it looks like everything is going in the wrong direction, but I stay in a positive mindset? There we go. So here we have a situation when more people are involved. We do a mathematical calculation that I am 1 in 20 or 1 in 200 or however many it will be. But the first point of impact is your state of consciousness. In this analogy of the airplane, is there's turbulence, but I'm going, it's fine. Airplanes are designed to do this. I am calm. I am positive. I am uplifted. And my transit through in the airplane will be more enjoyable. Now, the opposite is true. If I'm scared of flying, I would go, yes, everything is calm, but you never know. I'm scared. This is horrible. We'll have a crash landing. Then my state will be that of agitation. In either case of this example, the flight is on track and landing where it's supposed to. In both scenarios, I will be right, but one will help me relax and enjoy the flight, even though there is turbulence, and the other will make me anxious. There we go. And now, depending on my energy, so this is only a metaphor. There we go. In my reality, I will be changing the outcome of my reality by how I observe my reality to be. My father would have said that would be foolish to see that something is going wrong and to keep a high vibration. It would be better to prepare for the negative outcome. But quantum says, be prepared for whatever. So you don't need to project or control. Just stay in a high vibration. There we go. I just wanted to create that scenario. So here we have all your years of experience, plus conditioning, plus if you are more controlling, this is all going to influence how you really believe reality to function. There we go. So just for a moment, think of a deadline that you have to comply with and you're not ready. So efficiently, it would be better to double down and work. This is what logic says, which the mental linear timeline says. You don't have a lot of time, double down and do the work. The quantum would say, disengage, have a dance, have a 5-minute meditation, disconnect, ask for inspiration, come back to it in a different mindset. Is this something that you do, or is it hard? There we go. So, in your family history, if you have been taught to be very linear, very pragmatic, bring that up into your experience in this moment. There we are. So just as if you had been taught something and it is taught from a limited mindset. My go-to example is everyone thought that the world was flat, that you would sail off the edge, until we then learned that it was round and you don't sail off the edge. So imagine that what you have been taught as a linear mental timeline is a old dated belief. And imagine that unraveling in you. Yes, it might have kept you sane, safe in this mental linear timeline, but we are trying to become a more quantum being or a more spiritual or more fluid being. So just imagine who's the most pragmatic adult around you, or both, or even a lineage. Think who needed you to be pragmatic. And here, do the correlation that that's the same as the world being flat. Imagine pulling this idea, this belief system that being pragmatic is helpful, is tidy, is organized, is controlling, which it is, but it's also limiting. So imagine pulling that out of your mind, literally do like a hand gesture if you want to sieve it out of your brain, out of your mind, out of your body. And because it is knowledge, don't just chuck it away. Hand it back either to your dad, to your mom, or both, or your lineage. It is a teaching. It's not useless. It's a teaching that is no longer viable for you. So with gentleness, give it back and say, I'm doing something different. It has served me well. I leave it with you. There we go. And I'm asking for your blessing to re-script, to rewrite, to reprogram our ancestors' lineage for this new era, which you guys might call irresponsible, daydreaming, childish, wishful thinking. And if I leave it in those categories, it won't really work. So I'm handing back this control, this pragmatism, this stiff grip on reality to mom and dad or to my grandparents or their parents. And I ask for a blessing. So this blessing could be a nod, could be a kiss, could be a shoulder shrug saying, give it a go. There we go. And then turn around in your imagination. Here we go. I'm going to call on the quantum consciousness. This energy. Let's say the mental timeline, linear timeline is more from the mind, and the quantum is more from the heart and from the spirit. Both have their uses, and they work very well together. Now go back to the metaphor of the airplane, and there's turbulence, and you can close your eyes and meditate, or you can be caught up in the movie. So basically, you are not paying attention to the movement of the airplane. You've chosen to pay attention to an inner sensation, an inner state, or the movie. What if this escalates and people are upset around you? Imagine putting on music from your Spotify list and covering your eyes. It's as if you are in denial. You're not picking up on people's fear or energy. That's an external experience, although you are there. How easy, how quickly can you shift to an inner state? Okay, so some people feel the need maybe to console and help the person next to you, or maybe even criticize someone who's crying. That's the external. It seems illogical, and that's fine. We've all been taught and entrained to believe reality over the inner sensation. But the opposite is also true. If you don't feel attractive, yet people tell you that you are, your experience will be that of not being attractive. So the internal is stronger than the external. It can modify the perception of the experience. There we go. So imagine for a moment we're going to unplug. It's like rebooting the computer. I'm going to take my obsessive attention from this thing that is scary, fearful, dangerous, upsetting, whatever it is. I am going to make myself pull away from it. While I'm not looking at it, my energy can shift. My inner world can create peace. And by not engaging, I allow myself to approach this situation with a fresh energy, with a different outlook. And each time it recreates, because reality will do that, it will grab you And it's as if you, like in the movies, you close your eyes when the scary bit happens. Imagine shifting your energy each time. So you get better and better at it. The one thing you can do is imagine your reality, and each chakra has like cords going into reality. We are feeding and talking with reality. Imagine for a moment that you unplug yourself from reality, as if you took a step back or a couple of steps back. Changed your frequency. Breathe, dance, hear, listen to music, smile, laugh. And when you can reconnect, you reconnect from a different place. Yeah. Okay. The idea for you is to be open and happy to detach from reality for a while. So that was your preparation. And here we go with the transmission. So this is like a conversation. It's as if someone tells you something that offends, like they say, you're stupid, and you have a response. But if you know yourself not to be stupid, you just go, oh, well, you're not reacting to that reality. So imagine the reality you're living is like a language and you're being triggered. So let's say you're hoping to be chosen, I don't know, for something. And it's taking longer than you expect. Your mind starts going, oh, well, they'll have chosen someone else, or maybe I wasn't what they were looking for. And so you feed into the conversation instead of just believing that whatever is perfect. That if you are the person that they want, staying in a high vibration will make it more probable that they will come back to you, or that their first choice wasn't available, so you're the second choice. But by staying in a high vibration, you created that reality shift. There we go. But if you start feeding into it, saying, well, they probably didn't like me, I wasn't what they were looking for. In my case, it was I'm too tall. Someone else might say they're too short. And you feed into it because the fear of not having a response straight away, you fill in the gaps. So imagine filling in the gaps with dancing, with breathing, with smiling, with trusting. There we go. Very good. And so here we can say, I don't know how, because your mind wants to find the how. So if you say, I don't know how, but this is going to work in my favor, your mind can start to relax. There we go. Your mind can only, even though you're very intelligent, can only do linear timeline control, thinking, rational. There we go. Okay. Deep breath in and come on back.